You know, this is a lot of work just to change the oil. Alright, so I got the engine out of the truck. It's sitting here. The one going in it's sitting here. Do you see my problem? I have to figure out how to move that over there and move this back over here and pick it up. But I have to change the motor mount stands to the 4.3 trucks, and then I can start trying to do this. Alright, so the 4.3 is in the truck. Now, as far as I can tell, in engine mount wise, the difference between a 4.3 and V8 full size 91 Chevrolet half ton is a 4.3 uses mounts that looks like that. See how they move back off of the frame? A V8 truck uses mounts that work like that. So I guess if you were taking your 4.3 out and putting the 350 in, you'd have to change your mounts. If you're doing what I'm doing, you have to change your mounts. But I've got the motor mount bolts stuck in the mounts and 2 of the transmission bolts in it. The engine is setting in the truck. So here in a second, I'll show you what it looks like when I get done putting it together and probably trying to crank it. Alright, people, so it's got everything but one of the lines on the power steering and a oxygen sensor and a NOx sensor. The NOx sensor is simple. I'll just have to cut a wire and take it from down here to behind the distributor. But the oxygen sensor, the 350 has one in the manifold on the driver's side. And the 4.3, day's been a long day, people. The 4.3 has one in the Y pipe. So I'm going to have to add one to the Y pipe. The exhaust is cut off, so it's going to be pretty loud. Let's see if this cranks. You know, it wasn't running in the other truck. Okay, so the distributor that was in it was bad. This one's not very good, but let's see if I got it back in time. Way too fast. Alright, so I think this is my second distributor. I took it out of a running truck. Good oil pressure. It runs. Oops. Yeah, remember the part that I said I still didn't have the return line on the power steering pump? Anyway. It runs. using a 350 computer and fuel pump and everything, it seems to run. Now I have to put the oxygen sensor on it and hook the exhaust up the rest of the way. And, take care of that problem. But it started and run, and that's the important part. I'm probably going to let this be this video, because how many people's going to swap a 4.3 into a V8 truck? It's always the other way around. So, but so far, it may end up causing problems or something when it warms up. If it does, I'll handle it. But from what I can tell, the fuel pressure from a 4.3 to a 350 is the same. The throttle bodies, I've swapped them before. I don't know if they're the same or not. As far as I'm aware, the only ones that are different is a big block truck. But I'll get this the rest of the way together. I still have to take the air conditioner lines off of the other truck so I can hook them up on this. It didn't work anyway, but it's nice to make it look like it can. And then I'll eventually make a fine-tuning video. But right now, this video, I didn't show none of it, but I took the engine out of the other truck, took the engine out of this truck, put the other truck's engine back in this one. So that's an engine swap. So I want to thank you for watching. If you got any questions, ask them in the comments below. I'll be sure to make a recap or whatever at a later date to show how the truck's doing. Another little bit of information I want to tell you. The truck that engine came out of had, I believe, 450,000 miles. It used to be a 5-speed. And it ran pretty good. Didn't really smoke any. Had good oil pressure, had good bearings, didn't make any noises, didn't rattle, didn't knock or anything. This one, however, I believe it had 150,000 miles. Every time you cranked it, it had a main bearing knock. It didn't ever get any worse, and we put probably 4,000 or 5,000 miles on it. The truck used to be my step-granddad's truck before he died. And he kept the oil changed in it, but he bought it used, and it had issues when he bought it. So it had main bearing knock, and it smoked a little bit. It got rid of a little bit of oil. But an engine with twice the miles didn't. So that's why we put the 4.3 in the V8 truck. And by the way, that engine for at least 5 years before we got it, raised hell. boy wrecked the truck one night that came out of, and he tried to dukes the hazards. Apparently, he came over a hill. He came over a curve with a hill in it so damn fast that the truck came off the ground and plowed into a bank going about 80, and it pushed the front end way up. We cut it and pulled it down, drove it for a while like that, but it was a rough truck. This one, it needs paint. It's got a few dents in it, but it don't have any rust in it, and it drives good. So we're gonna. And Dad wanted a V6 for gas mileage, so we're gonna see how this does. Got any questions, comments, jokes, anything you want to ask me below or tell me? Leave them in the comments. God bless, and I'll see you next time.